If you click on this video, chances are you do have a language you want to learn. Whether you are inspired by TV shows or drama series or the culture you find super attractive or celebrities you admire, you do have your target language. You do want to improve that. And you often think, oh, it would be really cool to have a conversation with native speakers. It would be really, really wonderful if I'm able to watch those shows without relying on subtitles. But making a deliberate effort to take action towards learning my target language never comes easy. Especially if you're a full-time employee and a student. Already you've got a lot on your plate and you find it very relaxing and fun, interesting enough already to watch those shows with subtitles. But it's also very tempting to believe that just consuming content in my target language but with subtitle will eventually bring me to my desired level, bring me to that some kind of that like very elusive that feels like it's gonna come true one day. Once I have this enough exposure with subtitles, eventually I'll be able to understand my target language. It's so tempting to believe that, I know, but I don't think it's working that way. But I'm sure it will definitely increase your listening. It will also help you understand the culture a bit better, because by watching, even with your subtitles, you will be more familiar with that culture. But honestly, the ideal and desired image is that you speaking that language or using that language, right? Not just passively consuming. So today, I want to talk about what to do when I feel unmotivated to practice my target language. So my target language is English, but you can apply this to your target language, whether it's English, Korean, Japanese, Turkish, Spanish, whatever. First, find any friends who speak your target language, not as a native language. Sure, it's wonderful to be friends with native speakers. Honestly, that's the most ideal experience as a language learner. Engaging in conversations with native speakers, sure, it's good. It's definitely good. But when you feel unmotivated or like any other reasons, I'm sure there must be a lot of other reasons, and it could be easier to find friends. For example, me, in Korea, there are so many people wanting to learn English, wanting to improve their English. The reason why I recommend this is because you don't really compare your levels to native speakers, because it's just not really, it doesn't really make sense. It's just their mother tongue, just like you speak your mother tongue super comfortably. And that's how they're brought up, just like you're brought up, acquiring your mother tongue. Although I sometimes do compare my levels to natives, just like imagining and dreaming of me speaking English super comfortably, without stuttering, without hesitation. That's also good. But when you talk to non-native speakers in your target language, there's so many things to gain. You'll find yourself comparing your levels to non-native speakers' levels, because we're human beings. That's also because of this intrinsic nature of our brain. The brain is hardwired for competitiveness. So we do want to win naturally, very, very instinctively, even though there is no prize. And it's also very innocent, pure instinct, wanting to get better. We want ourselves to do something better. Ideally, potentially better than others. I know nothing about the brain, but it's just my assumption. So you will compare your levels to their levels, and as you interact with non-native speakers in your target language, you will also analyze and calculate the expressions they use, the way they talk. That means that interactions activate your brain. Therefore, it will give you a stronger impression. So you're more likely to remember the structures or vocabularies they use. And very, very also naturally, you want to be friends with them. You want to get closer to them. Because I think usually language learners are definitely more diligent, more disciplined, more driven than other ordinary people, I would say. Because usually people do this out of passion and curiosity. Curiosity, I think that curiosity, wanting to improve, but also like wanting to explore and not like settling in a mundane day-to-day, just the world they know, they're familiar with, their home country, but they want to do something larger. And they're willing to, they have this courage to step out of their comfort zone. It's already really uncomfortable speaking in a new language. So, but they have this willingness to do that. Oh, I feel all of a sudden very proud of myself for doing that. Like with this courage. Oh, great job. As you get along with them, you will feel the benefits from it. And you know, we are a social animal. We are easily influenced by the people we hang out with, we spend time with. And once you get closer to them, you may want to ask them about their study method. Like, how did you study? Especially if they're more advanced than your levels. It could put you down at first. Oh, they're doing really great. Oh, how did they reach that level? I'm so envious. Yeah, very natural feelings, but those feelings will eventually fuel your motivation and commitment and dedication. It's a caveat that if you feel down seeing their advanced level, then that's if you don't give up, and if you learn from that, then you will be able to reach their level as well. And that they can be your role models or examples that you want to be like them. Same, non-native speakers, but I do want to reach the level she's on. It feels more relatable and realistic. Since she has achieved that, I can do that too. So one of the techniques I learned from my friend, she is a non-native speaker, she's a Korean. Well, she studied English at college and she did more English related stuff than me, and she's 5 years older than me, so that's fair. And that's how I kind of rationalized my level. I can reach that level at her age, or like could be faster. That brilliant technique was summarizing. So I saw her habit of summarizing things, whatever she consumes, whatever she hears, whatever she experiences. For example, when she reads stuff, she never just passively read. She never passively take in information, but she always like summarize paragraph by paragraph, or like page by page, or chapter by chapter. She also ran this like English book club where like 6 in the morning before going to work, because most participants are all full-time employees or students. They have their own like full-time thing. They do this before going to work. It kind of shows how disciplined and driven Koreans are. Super diligent. I mean, 6 in the morning, can you believe? We read the book all together, paragraph by paragraph, taking turns. And she always got us to summarize the paragraph we read. I mean, I try to always summarize the things, content, whatever the things I watch or read, anything, in my own language. I mean, in English, but in my way. Before meeting her, I used to just memorize lots of vocabulary and expressions, but in order to summarize, comprehension comes first and then memorization. I mean, and also because of the paragraph, it contains the vocabulary I would like to apply in my own language. So like I highlight them. In order to speak in my own language, I have to change the structure, and at the same time incorporate the vocabulary highlighted in my own summary. So super fascinated, and it has contributed to my improvement so much. So I highly recommend finding anyone who speaks your target language, not as a native language. Second, make friends with native speakers. It could come across as a little bit repetitive because I already talked about being friends with non-native speakers who speak your target language. But with non-native speakers, you can get more practical study method, whereas with native speakers, as I mentioned earlier, it's the most ideal way to practice language. In order to fully be immersed in that culture, we need this language. Language is kind of a tool to integrate in that culture naturally. I would give my whole credit to my foreigner friends. I mean, I've met them through these online apps, but the depth and richness and the knowledge I've gained so far, it's just immense, the benefits. And I don't want to keep it to myself. I think everyone should take it. I've talked about it on my previous video. I mean, we're so privileged to be able to connect with these people living in the opposite side of the world just with a few clicks. You can ask them questions and talk about any topics and can ask their perspective, and you can see their different outlooks on certain things. But if you haven't done that as a language learner, it could be because the thought of having to communicate with them in your target language might be the one that holds you back from trying it out. But then it's okay. You don't have to talk to them in your target language. Yeah, especially if you're native English speakers. There are so many people on language learning apps who are non-native speakers having English as their target language. So they would love to practice English with you. But then what's the point? Just talking to them in my mother tongue, English. If your mother tongue is English, then what's the point? Well, with all of my foreign friends, we speak in English, but still they ask me a lot of questions. Keeping in touch with someone, chatting with someone who speaks your target language, then isn't it so fascinating? You want to immerse yourself in that culture, and then that you must have so many questions, right? I mean, if you don't have now, as you watch Korean dramas, is this kind of situation, is it so common? What do Korean guys usually say in this kind of situations? Is it too exaggerated? Is too polished? Is too scripted? How are Koreans' reactions to this drama, or whatever? Is he popular in Korea? Have you ever seen him in person? Or if you're planning to travel to Japan, is there any ways for me to get this ticket at a cheaper price? Or are there any kind of local food that are not really known? With this foreign friend, he likes writing lyrics in Korean. So he sent me this beautiful line in English. I want to see the stars, not just in the sky, but from your eyes. And he asked me that in Korean, and I didn't give him the direct translation, but I just gave him some words for him to unscramble those words so that he can practice forming sentences on his own. Yeah, language is a really brilliant bridge that connects these two very different people. And also another fascinating question my friends has asked. So my friend broke up with his girlfriend. So in that context, what should I say to my friend in Korean? Or my friend recently failed an exam. In that case, what should I say? How to make my friend feel better in Korean? Those kind of very nuanced concepts, because there are so many words, languages that are not directly translated into another language, because culturally we are just different. Google has this limitless amount of data in terms of your target language. The brilliant expert is a native speaker, so having that native speaker around you, being able to text them, call them whenever you want, that's so no pressure. You don't have to talk to them in your target language. Just comfortably speak in your mother tongue and ask them some questions if you have any. Or you could ask them to send some photos of certain things that you've been curious about. For example, my friend often asks me, how do cafes look like in Korea? How do restaurants look like in Korea? Or more nuanced questions like, how do you order food in Korean? Do Koreans say, how are you? What is the equivalent of how are you in Korean? Just so many interesting questions. Third, Pause once per episode. As it names, when we watch TV shows or dramas of our target language, we just watch them with subtitles and we don't really give ourselves some time to connect with the language. Just pause once whenever you want. I mean, you can finish the whole episode first because pausing in the middle of the show kind of interrupts and breaks the whole vibe. So finish the whole episode and then we all want to go back and then rewatch the scene that resonated with us so much. Go back and then understand the language and then repeat after the character. So for example, this is from Queen of Tears. 사람들은 행복한 순간에 밑줄을 그으며 살아간다. So in English, people live their lives highlighting happy moments. So 사람들은 행복한 순간에 밑줄을 그으며 살아간다. There are so many vocabulary in this one line. 사람들, people, 행복한, happy, 순간, moment, 밑줄, highlight, 살아간다, live lives. So you get to pick up so many vocabulary through this method. Let's say the character said, 내가 듣고 싶은 말이 있어. And in English subtitle, there is something I want to hear from you. So you know you understand the context, you understand the meaning, and then you hear the sound in your target language. But if you're quite beginner and not able to type that in your target language, then you can switch the subtitles into your target language and so that you can see the subtitle, or you can attempt to type that yourself and then see subtitles of your target language. 내가 듣고 싶은 말이 있어. So just one line per episode. That way you can expand the range of sentence structures. So you can diversify and pick up vocabulary there and different sentence structures. 내가 듣고 싶은 말이 있어. Another variation can be 내가 하고 싶은 게 있어. There is something I want to do. 내가 먹고 싶은 게 있어. There is something I want to eat. You can create other sentences with the same structure learned from the episode. Because this is a drama you've been watching, you're very in tune with the context, storyline, with the characters. So you already have a very deep understanding of that. So practicing one line from there will reinforce your memory. One expression a day. So the idea is to practice one expression every single day. I came up with this concept inspired by the book called Atomic Habits. As the name suggests, it's all about making small progress every single day. That core principle is so relevant to the realm of language learning because we can achieve magnificent progress in a single day. It's such a vast and diverse field to master at once. However, focusing on 1% growth will eventually lead to significant progress and achievement. With that in mind, it's really important to pace yourself and build a habit of gradual improvement each day. For example, if you practice one expression a day, then it will be 30 in a month, 60 in 2 months, 165 in a year. I mean, even if you can't remember all of those expressions, you can still get at least 200 or 300 hopefully. If it doesn't really meet your expectations, then you can do 2 expressions a day or 3 expressions a day. Then it will be 60 in a month and 120 expressions in 2 months. That's a lot. But you don't want to overwhelm yourself. Set the number that's doable that's just doable, not challenging at all. Because every day, if you want to challenge yourself, that's beautiful, but everyday task is already a lot. And again, in the area of language learning, it's all about making little progress every single day. For my case, I don't set a fixed number. I don't like, because it depends on my mood. But I think I do at least one a day. But when I'm in the mood for learning, then I do like 10 or 20. And the way of keeping track of the expressions learned is up to you. If you're kind of organized, then you can do like in Notion, in like sort into different categories, like this is from dramas, this is from like my go-to talk show, this is from like friends. So you can sort this into different categories, or based on topics like wellness, games, food, like lifestyle, politics. I guess this would be more applicable for advanced learners. But if you're someone who finds organizing things a bit troublesome, just me, you can create just one Notion page. So my Notion page is called New Expressions. I don't even like write down numbers. I just copy and paste any expressions I learn, anything I want to remember, vocabulary expressions I want to use in the future. But it's kind of too much. So sometimes it's not really readable and I don't want to go into that. So I like this brilliant feature of highlighting and underlining. That way I can see the specific expressions and words. I guess I usually do like sentence or or phrases. What's really rewarding and fulfilling is that when you find yourself using one of these expressions, you're not trying to make it up, but it just naturally fits in your context. So good. So it's good to incorporate other methods I introduced earlier, like talking to friends or watching dramas, TV shows, movies, whatever, consuming any contents in your target language. And then if you find something interesting expressions, then like, oh, this good. I want to remember that and then add it to your brilliant list. And this is how I do it. Because I live in Korea, I'm gonna move to English-speaking country soon, though. But I'm living in Korea. My target language is English, but I'm hearing lots of Koreans because I'm living in Korea. But Koreans often spark my curiosity. This sentence in English, how to say that sentence in English. So I write them down and then ask ChatGPT, what do you think? Does it sound okay, natural? Is it commonly used? Do native speakers use this, or are there any other ways to say this? Well, it's from ChatGPT, so their answers are not 100% reliable. So I often ask my foreigner friends. I asked so many questions so far. Thank you so much. If you don't have foreigner friends, that's okay. I have this brilliant app called Hi Native, where you can get answers from native speakers, not just English. There are all kinds of language learners. So I highly recommend you to use this app and get answers from native speakers. That's it for today, guys. I ended up saying so many stuff, so it became quite long. If you made it to the end, thank you so much, and I really appreciate you subscribing my channel. Hopefully my sharing helps you learn your language efficiently, effectively, enjoying along the way. I think that's the whole purpose. If you learn it with the mindset of mastering it, having to master it, like I'm gonna reach that level and like speak really fluently, like dreaming of your future self, desired future self can motivate you, but I guess the whole point lies in enjoying you learning this expression. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, it can be described in that way. This can be expressed in this way. That's so fascinating. I think I'm addicted to that feeling. Send good energy to all of you guys. Thank you so much for watching.